Okay, you know what? Something really, really bizarre happened. Um, we actually are doing this, we're burning the midnight oil on this show because, let me sign in here. Um, I don't know what had happened, but we had the show in the can, wrapped up, ready to go, and for some reason, we could not get it to go. Like it almost killed the computer, to be honest with you guys. It was, I think I don't know if it was just too big of a file or something, because we got carried away. We definitely started talking about quite a long, I guess, a lot of rambling, a lot of I don't know. So anyway, here we are. We're back, redoing, in a sense, some stuff here. And so we're going to go ahead and read your comments. We'll get through that. And then I want to talk about this little gem right here. And then, of course, some events. Actually, this is interesting because since then, a huge event took place, something that had to be done. There was kind of something that was like, I really want to get this thing. This is something I've really been trying to do, and basically it was a big leap, and it cut deep into some things, and had to let a lot of things go, a lot of stuff that I will never see again, never own again, and they will be greatly missed. But anyway, let's get to your comments. All right, we got one here from Jeffrey Richardson. Awesome table full of tools. Thank you, Jeffrey. We appreciate that. We appreciate you always coming around and basically commenting. You're always there. You're always supporting. We do appreciate that. Many of you do. This one here is from Hugh Hugor. Hopefully, I'm saying that right, Hugh. Great content and true advice. So many people trick out their guns, and then their guns don't work. All my self-defense gun are stock. Locks, 1911 Smith & Wesson revolvers. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Very good point. My defensive stuff, keep it stock. You know, that way there's no funny business. You can get into that whole thing about court and all that. Definitely always think about that. Every little thing you do to it, you have to explain that. Forensics, armor, all that kind of thing is going to be a long road ahead. So think about those things. Anyway, that's a big reason why I straight up use a Glock 17, because it's pretty much, I mean, always get another one, and they're pretty much standard, and not much going on there. Anyway, lead 8541 here. You were not kidding about the price of food is out of control. Yeah, absolutely. I just got back from the grocery store this evening, and I just couldn't believe, like, it was like 60, $70, and I literally had 2 bags of groceries. Not even full bags, I would say. So, and especially depending on how you're eating and what you're kind of doing. I've been actually kind of more on the healthier side of trying to eat, although it's hard. You want to sneak in that ice cream and all that every now and then. But yeah, it is not cheap to get a lot of this certain things, especially some of the stuff that I've been purchasing and all that. Just on a more of a healthier approach to things, cut back on a lot of other different things. So anyway, yeah, it's definitely not cheap. KC Colt 1911s are amazing. Yes, I like Colt 1911s. In fact, that's what we got on the table. Now, this one here is Lion Quest Fitness. Yep, I'm a keep it simple guy. Unless you're a competitive shooter, you really don't need all the bells and whistles on a handgun. You learn to work with what you have. I've got poor eyesight, but I make it the best of what I can do. You work with it. Absolutely. We got a couple responses to that. Our man, Crazy Scotsman over here, says, you, sir, are a testament to the old school. and what target focus means. You have so many fantastic videos the average Joe relates to, myself included, being a revolver guy. Absolutely, Lion Quest Fitness, you do have some of the best videos out there. You have definitely uh, took it down the road further than any of us ever took it. So you definitely have done a really bang up job with the videos, man. All right. This one here is from Mike. Mike says, "Hello, Batjack. I've been enjoying the show. I did get my Smith & Wesson Lipsy's mountain gun back in the 44 caliber that he has there from customer service. Uh, the action was locking up. Smith put a awesome trigger on the gun, well worth the wait. The trigger, both single and double action, it reminds me of high-end custom triggers, though with a heavy spring. The heavy spring is desirable for the guns intended for purpose of backwoods defense. Yeah, you want them to bust Magnum primers. You definitely, you really want to test your stuff. Try shooting anything CCI Magnum primers. Those are really tough. If it busts those, I can pretty much count on it busting anything else. Though I did notice while shooting it, the cylinder was not locked. I may have bumped the cylinder release during heavy recoil. I've actually done that, so I can relate to that. I'm recovering from a complete shoulder replacement, so I'm anxious to get back to assessing the repair work. I do love this revolver. Best wishes from Montana. I'm glad everything's running smooth for you, Mike, on that one. It's a darn shame that you got it messed up to begin with. I can't imagine the frustration that must be. You spend your hard-earned money, especially when these things are not cheap. These companies are they're wanting high prices for their stuff, throwing numbers out there over $1,000, $1,300, $1,400, like it's some kind of like easy thing for people to do. Yet, I mean, I have no problem paying for quality, but at the same time, when I get that thing in the box, I expect it to work 100%. For the money I put down, because I did my end, which is buy the gun. Your end was to make sure that when I opened that box, everything was running top shape that it should. That's where you got to give, I mean, not all the time, but I would say the majority of the time, that's where you got to give a little bit of a credit where credit's due with shops such as like Wilson Combat and, Les Bear, where they're handling these guns, they're looking at them, that they're making extra sure that when it leaves their factory that it is done satisfactory and it is working. So, again, nobody's perfect. It can happen to the best and it can happen to the worst. All right. Sean Lee, howdy y'all. Sip of coffee for everyone this morning. I've heard that altering or changing out too many things isn't necessarily good for your firearm. Very true. It is very true. It isn't necessarily good. It's not always a good idea. You can change it out and start switching it out to the point where the thing don't work anymore. So there you have that. And don't start hacking away at things thinking that you know better than what the company did. Like, I'm not going to go changing out my barrels and stuff on these things, because guess what? I don't know enough about that crap to do that. And I'm certainly 120,000% positive Colt knows more about that than I ever will. So, all right. This one here is from DB, top of the morning. Blockbuster Video. I used to date a district manager back in the day. Heck, we lived together for years. Fringe benefits were great. All the early releases. Oh, you lucky dog. What a cool thing, man. The Blockbuster days. Anybody ever remember that? The Blockbuster days, the Be Kind, Please Rewind fees and all that. I tell you, those were awesome times. They were really cool. I guess those of you that didn't get to experience that, I'm sorry. That was the coolest things ever, man. I tell you, the video rental stores, VHS tapes, those days, that was something else. I too am not a fan of the optics on my handguns. Yeah, I don't. If I could see the iron sights, I'm still going to shoot them. I enjoy good iron sight setups. Not a huge fan of the GI sights. Yes, those are really tough to see. They're not not worth it. The old school GI 1911s are cool for the historical aspect of it, and that is it. Other than that, they're not the greatest 1911 by far. And when you start, and I mean, I check out auctions a lot, and whenever you see, and I mean, I see stuff like where ridiculous prices, $8,500 and stuff like that. Um, that's just insane. I mean, like whatever, you got that kind of stupid money to throw at something. I mean, by all means. Somebody like me, no way, man. I'm thinking about my mortgage payments. I'm thinking about uh, my grocery bills, my keeping my lights on, paying my gas, and all that. That's the stuff I'm thinking about. Definitely not spending $8,500 on a 1911. Um, so that's where I stand on that. Joe P. Joe is in the house. Everybody still get coffee for Joe. I don't have one because, like I said, we're burning the midnight oil here, getting this show ready to go for you in the morning. Good morning, JW. The Crazy Scotsman mentioned that he was having some issues with his Dillon 650. So I wanted to chime in and say I've actually thrown mine into storage. It just became so twitchy and always needing something adjusted that I got tired of it. I estimate that I made over 50,000 rounds with it in the 8 years I've owned it. Certainly, certainly paid for itself, but these days, all I need is a simple turret press. A lot to be said about that, what Joe P is talking about. I too have a Dillon 650 press. Mine has become so exactly what he's talking about. And I've had mine for a good number of years. I mean, I've had mine before I did YouTube, and mine has definitely gotten to the point where it's needy of all kinds of adjustments. Mine is not ramming the shell all the way forward into the shell plate for 9mm. I have no idea what in the hell is going on with it. I wish I knew. I honestly, I don't use it. I want it for 9mm, but I've been using a 550 press. I actually bought the 550 press strictly for my revolver stuff, and it's slowly becoming kind of like my go-to press right now, as of right now. So, yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with the Dillon 650. I'm not going to lie. They make a good press. They make some of the best, but and I'm kind of torn too because I think part of this is too. I used to work for a reloading company manufacturing ammunition. I don't know how many people. I don't know if I've ever talked about that, but I actually grown to not enjoy reloading as much as I once did. So to me, reloading is like kind of like a necessary evil that I have to do in order to go to the range, which now going to the range is seldom. But I still enjoy tinkering around with my revolver loads. But when it comes down to my auto loading stuff, like 9mm, I quicker the better. I just want to get it over with. I just need a pile of ammo so I can go to the range and I hate loading out of a little box. I like to throw it all in a big bucket and just sit there and just pick at it like popcorn and not worry about it. So I don't know. I mean, that's just me. So I'm kind of determined to get that 650 kind of. I need it to make me 9. That's what I need it for. So, all right. This one here is from Warren. Hi, Bad Jack. How are you doing this week? Thanks for being the marketing guy for here in Australia. Oh, well, I don't know what that means, but thank you, I guess. I agree with you on the subject of if it's not the tool or the gear, but it's the person behind it. Yeah, I mean, the stuff can do it, but can you do it? And there's nothing you're gonna do to the thing that's gonna make it just like. I mean, I don't know what people expect. Do they expect to just sit there and go and just shoot and just everything goes in the bullseye or something? I don't know. Work on your skills. Also agree with you. While we inspire to emulate our heroes, but it is good to know that they put as much work into it as we need to. Yeah. And there's straight talent. I mean, there really is. and there is no guarantee of the same result, so we make it our own. This applies to any endeavor. A wise friend of mine says, not everyone will do the same thing the same way to achieve the same outcome, as you won't do the same thing the same way across the spectrum of your life. That is true. I mean, there's as you go through life, different things take different directions, different priorities. More than one way to skin a cat. Always said that. I know it's probably more of a gross mentality or saying these days, but it's what I grew up hearing. Names you mentioned change the way to do things. They have different opinions compared to back then, in age and experiences. Have a great week and see you on the next one. We appreciate that, Warren. But yeah, in fact, Bill Wilson of Wilson Combat actually said it. He was asked, "Why don't you guys make a pistol with your specifications on it?" And he simply said, "Because at the end of the year, that's not my specifications anymore. It's not something I'm going to like anymore," which is true. It's like holsters. Everybody's got a bucket of holsters because we've all tried different ones, and we're like, yeah, this is not good, this is good, this sucks, this doesn't, So it's the same thing like that. So definitely, for sure on that. Here's Bob's Revolvers and Autos. Love the firearm lineup this week. I've been watching your channel for years. I've always wondered, have you ever had an empty mug for one of these videos and just pretended to be drinking out of it? Thanks for the video. No, because most of the time when we do these, it's always beneficial to have something to drink. It may not have always been coffee. Sometimes they'll throw iced tea in there, juice or something like that. I'm not a big alcohol drinker at all anymore. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I even had a drop of alcohol. I've off and on, had a drink with Cody sometimes years back. Did maybe a shot for Mr. Olson or something like that. But honestly, cut out alcohol altogether. Don't even do it. Don't even think about it. Don't smoke cigarettes. But yeah, for the most part, always had something's in the cup. Yeah. Can't think of any time I didn't. But the mug, the coffee mug is part of the show. It has become its own entity in the show. So I always try to bring it out, or at least something to drink. Like I did not this time. So anyway, but no, interesting question though. I like that one. All right, this one here is from Crazy Scotsman. Tombstone also offers a lifetime replacement. Forget the cost, but I've never clicked it personally. I believe that the manufacturer should honor any issues that happen. I cannot read this. Hang on. Should not have to rely on another company to fix the manufacturer's problems when it comes to shooting better. I recommend people grab a revolver when you can understand a heavy trigger, learn the point of aim. Switching to semi-auto is a breeze once you figure out placement. To me, finger placement practice are two things you must ignore shooting. Dedication, range, dedicated, dry firing, etc. Many tools to utilize. Don't mean for a super long comment, but you asked. Yeah. You know what? I mean, I used to, be a lot more involved in the firearms things than I am now. I really have hardly any interest in the business, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, but yeah, very good points. I mean, these people are trying to learn to shoot or whatever, and I asked Crazy Scotsman to kind of chime in on this because he's more involved in the business, and I'm sure he sees it all the time. And what he's talking about right there is get back to the basics: trigger pull, trigger press, whatever, sight alignment, sight picture, all that stuff. Take a damn class. If you're having a hard time hacking it, take a class. There's plenty of people offering classes out there, and then, you know, take what you want out of the class, you know, take the best knowledge, apply it to what you got and what's going on, and hopefully you have a better outcome. All right. This is my Colt Lightweight Commander 9mm. I've been doing a lot more tinkering around with this thing and enjoying it a lot more. This has actually become kind of a range gun for me for sure. Lately, I've went through and did a lot of work to this thing actually. There was some stuff that I did and changed out. One of them was, because it is a range gun for me, I went in and slicked up the parts. This is Series 80. I don't care. That never bothered me, especially when it's a Colt, because I always felt that Colt made the best. Because it's Series 80, I did go ahead and slick up the action a little bit. So I know this is like pointless doing this because you guys are like, you can't feel the trigger pull. But I'm going to tell you right now that it's pretty smooth. There is really hardly any hitch in there. It just kind of sweeps on right through. For a Series 80, not bad at all. You know, like I said, Colt does do a good job. It's got Novak 3-dot sights on it. I actually did do the grip safety sensitization, sensitize the grip safety, so I'm going to put pressure here. And you can actually see now it engages really quickly right there. Doesn't take much. It's barely halfway to doing so. Before, I think it was like you had to depress it all the way to get it to go. This being a lightweight frame, it was, once again, I rolled with the stock polymer mainspring housing. I always feel like in a lightweight frame that's important because this is a big chunk of steel. When I go with a lightweight frame, I want that lightweightness, so that's what I'm going for. It's got the 3-hole trigger. I didn't change that out at all. Standard magazine release, not bad. I did get kind of a little spoiled at the Wilson Combat extended one. Just slightly extended. Not ridiculously extended, but definitely better than what's there. But it is just a kind of a range pistol, so I don't, you know, it's not too bad. The thumb safety is extended, but not bad. It's more of a low profile one. I'm not a fan of extended thumb safeties. In a sense of the gas pedal style, I don't like those. For the most part, I kept this thing pretty stock. It's got the bolt serrations. It does have a dual recoil spring in this thing. So at first I was kind of wondering what the heck, you know, like, because I had issues with this thing when I put a shock buff in it. I'm really in favor of running shock buffs, especially in a lightweight frame like this. But this 1911 does not like shock buffs. It chokes and pukes on them, and it does not like it. Now, the other thing, too, is I'll go ahead and actually take the slide down. It does not have a ramped barrel. So if you guys kind of know a 9mm 1911, you kind of do want a ramped barrel. This one does not have a ramped barrel. So the transition, the ramp it's partially ramped on the frame, and then it's got the little mouth right here. So the rounds kind of feel like they're kind of like boom boom off of the thing, you know. So I didn't really like the way it felt. So what I did was I actually chamfered the top of the frame here where the ramp goes. Then I took the barrel and I went to a friend of mine that's a jeweler, and I told him if he could open this up just a little bit. To open this up, dish it out a little bit. Don't run it inward, but just dish it for me a little bit there, which he did, and it actually runs great. It's nicely polished now because he did do a polish job on there for me. So, like I said, that was awesome. You know, I was able to take care of that, get it touched up a little bit by the jeweler. Some of the other things I did, I kind of was working on the extractor a little bit. I tuned